So what's a skirmish battle mech? And how does the Shadowhawk tie in? And if we had to go light, I'd recommend the Valkyrie, and you'll give a suggestion for your light recommendation battle mech. There's this idea, I was going to say in Battletech, but it's like Wargaming 101. You have your lances, you have your units, you have your space armada, your ships, whatever it's going to be. You want to stick together as a group. And the reason for that is, think about if you have 4 battle mechs, and they're about 3 or 4 hexes away from each other, maybe a little bit ahead, a little bit behind, left, right. What this means is if they are all facing forward, they all project their firing arc. If it's inner sphere of autocannons, PPCs, large lasers, LRMs, they're all projecting all their weapons out at long range, medium range, short range. Any unit that comes into that range is now going to have 3 or 4 mechs or tanks or units firing on it. So you are coordinating. You want to stick close together. The tactic, of course, for that is, stay in formation, stay on target, all that type of stuff. But a skirmisher is a unit, a tank, a mech, a vehicle. In this case, we're going to be looking at mechs that works independently of the group, works a little bit ahead of the group. So I'm pushing up my lances and my tanks, because I'm playing tanks, I love tanks, to the center of the table. You're pushing your stuff up. A skirmisher is a unit that can go out and just plink away. Run around, run and gun. I mean, yeah, you could get a headshot. Yeah, you could get lucky, but it's not so much about the damage it causes. You're looking for targets of opportunity. I'm looking to shoot at stuff that might be vulnerable. Like maybe you're pushing up a Shrek PPC carrier and my skirmish unit can get to the side, and even though it's not doing a lot of damage, side shots on vehicles for motive hits are huge, especially if it's like a wheeled unit. And I just start plinking away with autocannons. I'm not going to blow it up, but I'm going to grind down your motive or maybe even immobilize you. So now that Shrek has to maybe get in cover, or you have to pull off another unit to engage or drive off my skirmisher. I might engage another mech. So now you pull off a mech or you slow down. The idea is the skirmishers are there to hopefully break up that formation. So this way, when my formation hits your formation isn't fully formed in the formation. So I can take you out. I can roll those dice and take you out. Shadowhawk is a good skirmisher because you got to balance out a couple of factors. And you have to balance out those factors with battle value. I mean, I can have the best ultimate skirmish mech, but it's 2,000 battle value. It's got all the toys, all the whistles, everything. That's too much money. That's too much money for one unit that we're going to be using. So I want to clock in at 1,000 or so battle value. I think the Hawk is 1050, 1060 something. About 1,000 or less. That fits this criteria. First, mobility. Mobility is in, for its weight class, obviously a light's going to be more than a medium, but good walk, good run. I won't say 100%, but 90 plus something percent, absolutely jump jets. Combined with good armor, at least average armor, not under armored, because your opponent is going to look to skirmish or drive off your skirmisher. With the Shadowhawk, not that I want to take any PPC hits, but I could take 1 or 2 without getting crippled. It's got the mobility in terms of decent walk and run for a medium. It has the ability to jump. So this way I can get into position, fire away, run back, move around, disengage. It's solid. The weapon profiles, while they're not it is a medium mech, they're not super uber damage. And, admittedly, I'm used to playing heavier weight classes, heavies and assaults. So I'm used to something like the Warhammer. That's not a fair comparison in terms of damage output because of the tonnage, the sheer raw tonnage. But the Shadowhawk stock is interesting because it plays the autocannon and the LRM pack at the same range. That's got a little bit of bite on range, especially with the mobility and especially as a skirmisher. If something wants to close to drive it off and you're not going to run away, or you figure, hey, I'll engage a little bit, or you just manage to somehow work your way up to medium or short ranges in skirmishing. You don't have to skirmish at long range. It has the medium laser and the SRM pack for that, which you can combine with the autocannon at closer ranges, dropping the long-range missile to manage heat. it's got a little bite. It's got some stuff that it can utilize. And it's one of my, it's a great workhorse. I won't say it's as good as the Wolverine in terms of a workhorse, but if we look at the starter set, the Game of Armored Combat starter set, the fact that they are including a Wolverine and a Shadowhawk, those are two solid mechs. And the Shadowhawk, in my opinion, works very well as a skirmish mech. Dropping the weight class a little bit, or maybe a lot more, the Valkyrie is an excellent skirmish mech, and usually I employ that as a skirmish mech if I'm trying to save some battle value. Although it is pricey, to have the speed, slightly better than average armor, and an LRM pack for indirect. Look, indirect fire too is a massive for skirmish. I'm not looking to deal damage. It's not mandatory that I deal damage. I'm looking to deal it. But even if I can fire indirect, needing 11s and 12s to hit you, that's going to force you to deal with it in some way. Move out of range, move into range, engage. We're looking to break up that formation with a skirmisher.